This is the latest board from Arbiter Studio, being the first of their premium Pro line, and this is going to be the Polar 65 Pro in the white variant. The case consists of a CNC'd aluminium with a matte anodization, and the bottom is going to be a frosted polycarb plate with an engraved metal plate in the center. We do have the Type-C port in the top left, which aesthetically looks a bit out of place, but this is just the design we're working with. Now, the overall design is very inviting and comfortable, sitting at a 5-degree angle with a lot of roundings on the edges and rims, carrying all the way through to the base and the keycaps. Now, the keycaps are going to be in an AOP style, and this just basically means it's the Arbiter original profile, which obviously means it's a profile made by them. Having a dye-sub design on the PBT material which feels smooth to the touch, and the colors in person look super clean and stark. Even if it is just black and white scheme, it's a classic and it isn't tough to get right, unless the dye-sub is done poorly. But I digress. Arbiter have upgraded their PCBs and switches themselves. We have their new Gen 2 dedicated Hall sensors, which supposedly are double the performance from their previous generation. And from what I've done research on, it's not like the tachyon mode from Wooting where it forces the LEDs to have a weaker brightness, as the LEDs do obviously take more power from the stream. But rather in this case we have the new sensors splitting the LED stream from the sensor itself. So we have power focus on the LEDs as well as the sensors, and on paper resulting in more accurate rapid trigger performance as well as lower latency. But now also paired with a Fuji Pro magnetic switches, which are their proprietary switches, with a decently clear housing for the best resulting LED diffusion. A box stem that fills up the whole top housing, which on paper also nullifies stem wobble and creates a more stable, straight and precise keystroke. Even more so considering the linear with a starting force of 36 grams with a bottoming out at 60 grams, and they have a very decent amount of factory loop going on, making them also not as heavy as other options out there. A nice thing I do want to touch deeper on is the layout of the board's internals. It's built up of 8 parts, 4 of which is everything to do with the PCB that gets sandwiched between an aluminium plate and 2 thick slabs of silicone, making the case or keystrokes not sound tinny. And also in comparison to the original Wooting 60HE, we do have screw-in stabilizers, which are just chef's kiss. But also we have been seeing many other brands get into the same standard, which is very welcoming. Now the board thankfully doesn't have any software. We do have 3 presets made with the onboard profile, accessible by a key combo of function, alt and either 1, 2 or 3. But also they do make use of a web driver where you can change your RGB colors and modes, as well as everything to do with rapid trigger and the regular actuation sensitivities, which is also per key if you wish to do so. And with my profile and taste, it does allow me to counter strafe easier and also hit better pieces of movement on Apex Legends. On top of that, with the recent uproar of Razer's SnapTap, Arbiter will be adding their version of it onto the WebDriver in the near future. Now in short, if the user presses A and D for example, the key that was last actuated will be prioritized, where usually the character would stand still if 2 keys are actuated simultaneously, but rather allowing the character to move constantly. I like the board, it feels nice and it performs, but to me there's nothing really outstanding or special about it. It's a good value board at $155 US, but I'd rather save up for a longer period of time to get a Wooting, or even a board that performs better, like the Wooting 80HE and the Hemu X Seiko Keep HM66. Giving us an insane internal stack of foam and silicone for feel plus 8000 Hz polling rate. But hey, if you do like the look of the polar boards or really don't feel like paying all that extra for a board, then that is your personal preference.